To private. Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland. We are a flamenco dance group from España. And with me tonight, it's only Craig from same old Arsenal. All right, Cheeky?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Well, we've been speaking, having a nice old chat for the last half hour, sorting out the world of podcasting. And I think we've done a fine job.
Lucky no one could hear us.
Yeah, it is a good job because Jason would there'd be a writ in the post sooner rather than later. And with us is Richard, who has finally, we've spent ages trying to get him to sort out his laptop. Thought it was his internet. It's not. It's his dodgy laptop. He's now on his phone. Look at that, people. That's better quality than mine or Craig's.
Who would have thought it, eh? Who would have thought it?
All thanks to the people at Oppo. If they want to sponsor us for £25,000 per show, we will. We love the Chinese. Mad Chinese on Friday. Nom, nom, nom. Singapore fried rice. Now we're talking. Right. Let's get on with the show. I managed to do that most of that without messing it up. Right. I think the first thing we're going to talk about, I'll start with you, Craig. What do you think about the current clusterfuck at the club now?
It's an absolute circus, isn't it? I mean, if we're going to be honest, it's been a circus for the last 10 years. Why, give it a couple more years. Why not? We have a manager who has confused himself. If he's confused himself, how do we expect the players not to be confused? I actually feel sorry for him, Danny, to be honest with you, because he's now being used as a scapegoat. We can all see that. He's being used as the finger pointer. Raul and Edu need to man up and they need to do what's right, whether it's their decision or not. I would imagine it's their decision. I wouldn't think it's Josh or Stan's decision. Raul and Edu were brought in to do jobs like this. I think Raul is having a bit of a situation where he doesn't want to hurt his ego. He's telling everyone that he can still, that he still believes in Unai Emery. But unfortunately, it's quite clear to see that the supporters don't and the players don't either. And I think that they should do the right thing and just, cut ties with him. I don't dislike. What am I trying to say? Sorry. I don't dislike the bloke, but it's just not working, is it? He's been here for 18 months, still doesn't know his best 11. We've got, rumours of player revolts. If he stays, it looks like Aubameyang and Lacazette will want to leave. We've heard that Lucas Torreira wants to leave. And this all comes down from a man who took us on a 22-game unbeaten run, playing some nice football. People are saying to me, "Oh, but we didn't play many. We didn't play any good teams." But you've still got to beat who's in front of you. And Lucas Torreira was the best DM in the league. In those 20
player of the matches out of 6 games, wasn't it?
Do you know? But all of a sudden, it's like you said, mate. It's just all gone to a clusterfuck, and it's about someone's got to stand up here and take charge. And I'm afraid he's got to go. And I don't, like I said, I have no ill feeling towards Unai Emery at all. But it's just time to move on now and get someone else in, and let's have a refresh and a reboot.
Richard, would you agree with me that the hierarchy at the club goes Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, Edu, and then Raul and the other one, or is it Raul and the other one are above Edu? Yeah,
I would probably say Raul is above Edu.
Yeah.
And
who's the other one? Raul and
Vinay.
Vinay.
Again, I would say Vinay is lower down the food chain than Raul. I think didn't Raul was part of the appointment of Edu? Didn't he take part in the appointment of Edu? So I mean, it seemed a bit weird if your subordinate was hired you. But I would go, for me it'd be Raul, then Edu, then Vinay on a separate branch, because he's more marketing, commercial and stuff like that, isn't he?
So if looking at the Titanic situation where the water's rising, how far up that chain of command are the people knee-high and are drowning in water? We've gone. Edu's gone. I mean, Emery's gone. He's drowning. Above him, you've got. Did you say Edu? Is Edu drowning yet? Because I think the further up, once Stan starts drowning, we're all in trouble. So at the moment, if you stack them all head on head, now that we've figured out the chain of command, how far up the chain of command are they drowning, or are they chin deep in shit? So whichever way you want to look at it.
I think Emery is down in steerage. He's completely gone now.
He's down with Leonardo DiCaprio dancing on a table.
Yeah, he's been handcuffed to a pipe and he's going nowhere. I think Edu is Rose running around with someone's his coat and a diamond in her pocket. I don't know how far I can stretch this analogy, but
I think I went too far starting it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I think like I said, it's all a bit odd, to be honest with you, because I think, like I said, I agree. I don't dislike Emery. I think he's desperately trying his best, but his best at the minute just isn't good enough. I think he's lost the players, he's lost the fans, and I think he's lost himself. He's chasing things now. He's trying too many things, and he's changing too much stuff, and he's got no consistency, and he's chasing his tail, and he's now gone too far down the rabbit hole. It's up to Raul. I think Raul's the guy in charge of things, or Raul is the person that Josh Kroenke has put in charge of things. So I think ultimately, it's going to be Raul's decision rather than Edu. I would imagine. I mean, I may be wrong. I don't know the all ins and outs of it, but I would imagine that Edu is more along the lines of like player recruitment and player contacts and stuff like that, rather than the football runnings, which I think Raul is. Does that make sense?
Kind of, yeah. Craig, how would you how far up that chain of stacking people on the head like a load of people at the circus? How far would you say that the bottom people are in trouble? I mean, Emery, we all know Emery's gone. Emery's drowning.
Yeah, Emery's drowning. Emery's drowning. I would say that Unai is probably drowning as well, and Raul and Edu have just got their chins above the water. It's not going to be long before the water rises, and they're going to have to do something. And at the moment, I think they're there now with their chins above the water, looking over to each other, saying, "Well, we're going to have to do something here, because otherwise we're going to drown as well." And I'm starting to see even people like myself. I mean, I've said myself that if Raul hasn't got the nuts to do it, then he can go as well. Get someone in that will. I can't have a fella head of recruitment and head of hiring and firing if he's going to have an ego about a fella he's brought in who can't do a job. Just take it on the chin, mate. You brought him in, he can't do it. Get someone else. Go and get someone else. For me, their chins are just above the water.
I was listening to a podcast, and I think they mentioned it as well as someone else about it. Someone mentioned that to get rid of Emery and all of his backroom staff, it's going to cost 15 million quid. So I'm looking at Wikipedia at the moment. Head coach Unai Emery, he has to go. First team assistant head coach Juan Carlos Caicedo, he'd have to go. First team coach Pablo Villa. Who else is down here? Strength and conditioning coaches. None of them sound Spanish. First team physio, Paulo Barrera. There's another one, goalkeeping coach, Javi Garcia. And then looking even further down. So there's going to be 5 or 6 players already there and people already there, Richard. Do you think that they're looking at it and going, wow, that's going to cost £16 million. That's all 15 million quid. And then they're balancing that up against, we should be balancing it up going, well, look, how much money are we going to lose out if we don't get to the Champions League? If we get in the Champions League, you're automatically going to make, £40 million a season? You're throwing all of that away. Because I remember years ago, Man United said that when they won the Europa League, they got 15 million quid. You get more than that for making it out of the group stages of the Champions League, don't you?
Yeah, and I think that's it's a difficult one in the sense of, so what are they? It's going to kind of touch on the Five Forum thing, but like, what are they waiting for? Are they waiting for the right man to become available? Because it's not all cut and dry, and it doesn't all happen like that really quickly. You can't just go, right, sack him, he's gone, and then we're going to bring in these guys. There's like I said, there's how many? Those people you listed, like 6 or 7 background staff that they're going to have to, sort out with severance and stuff like that, and then replace. So it's a kind of a question of, what do you do? Do you sack everybody, have a skeleton staff of Freddie and whoever.
Well, they started to let people go already, haven't they? Steve Morrow's gone, and a couple of others from the youth setup have gone.
Yeah. So it's is that what they're waiting for? Because 15 million in the grand scheme of things for Arsenal Football Club is not a massive amount of money. It's half a Mustafi. Do you know what I mean? Sounds horrible.
You've got to have a system.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? I don't think it's the money thing. Because I think it's more of a fact of who can they bring in now until next season? Do they have faith and confidence that Freddie is going to be able to take over and do better than what Unai is doing? Or is there someone out there that can come in and take over and do better than Unai? Like I haven't exactly got my finger to the pulse of unemployed managers, but I thought Luis Enrique was going to be the dude, but he's gone back to the
definitely going to happen. Those in the know, they all knew. They said he's definitely coming. We've had chats with him. Then there was reports that we've already had chats with Jose, and he's definitely coming in. Craig, what do you reckon?
Next manager?
Or do you think they're going to get rid of Emery?
Oh, they're going to get rid of Emery. I have to be honest with you. I think they've already done it.
Yeah.
But we just don't know about it. Yeah, we just don't know about it. I would still expect to see him Thursday night. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but
how would that work?
Well, we don't know. You see.
Yeah, they don't tell us anything.
We don't know. So what I'm saying is, I think that something has been done, something has been agreed, but we just don't know about it. But who would I like to see come in, or who is there available? This might sound controversial, but my number one man I'd like to see come in is Poch. I'd love for him to come and manage Arsenal, and I'd love us for all to watch him go about setting the greatest revenge mission that football has ever seen. Come to the Arsenal and just win it everything, and just walk, and when the Tottenham come to the Emirates, just stand there and, hey, how's it going? All right, lads, remember me? Yeah.
do you think, I would love that as well, but do you think he's, because there's a bit of me that I think he's a bit too emotionally invested and loyal to Tottenham. Same way with the Espanyol and Barcelona thing.
I'll be honest with you, it's probably me just dreaming and thinking about what I'd like to happen. It will probably be Mikel Arteta, won't it? If I think we could probably all agree it's going to be him. So yeah, Arteta. Is he going to come till the end of the season, or will they take him on a contract? I don't think. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that Freddie hasn't got the badges. Manager.
Yes, because when he went to Wolfsburg with the other bloke, and he was assistant manager there, wasn't he? So I think he's been working on them for quite a while.
Has he?
I could be completely wrong.
No, I'm sure I read something on Twitter the other day from an account to say that he hasn't got the required badges. But look, I might be wrong. I probably am. I normally am.
It's not just the standard badges, is it? You need, is it a UEFA A license?
Yeah, you've got to have a UEFA A license. I don't think he's got it. So it'll be interesting to see, all these people that are calling for Freddie. I mean, I personally, no. Come on, let's get real. He's been manager of the youth team. All right, I get people's sentiment. He's an ex-Arsenal player and he's an ex-legend and this, that, and the other. But if we go through ex-footballers that have become managers just because they've been an ex-legend, hasn't gone very well for them, has it? I mean, you look at Thierry Henry, look at Patrick Vieira. Okay, he's doing all right. Thierry Henry sacked after 6 months. He's gone to America. Even look at people like Roy Keane, fantastic midfielder, probably one of the best to play in the Premier League. Manager, no good.
That is true. I'm just doing a quick Google on here and I can't find... No, it said he was coming for them in 2016 when he was managing our under-15s. So it doesn't bring up whether they've got him or not yet. What was everything else? Oh, yeah, I'm just looking at the Spurs team. And you're saying, I asked Mike, Andy, and B were talking about this on their show, and they ignored my question. Could you transpose the Arsenal squad onto the tactics that? Hold on, that's the wrong one. Onto the tactics that Pochettino used at Spurs. So he played a flat back four with 2 in midfield, as the kind of like we do at the moment. Then he plays 3 behind Kane. Richard, that would work, wouldn't it? We have the players to fill all of those positions and play that type of football.
Yeah, absolutely. The other big thing that Pochettino did was his teams were aggressive without the ball, which is something that we have been so bad. I think I've said it about 6 or 7 times on this podcast. We are the worst team in all of football without the ball. So it would be able to. We got the players there. And he would slot in quite nicely, but I can't see it happening.
Well, there was a clip going around on Twitter that him saying that if in a few years' time Daniel Levy lets him go, that he doesn't think he could ever go and manage Arsenal. And I think because he was manager of Espanyol, he said he'd never manage Barcelona either. Real Madrid apparently are annoyed because it looks like they had a bit of an agreement with Jose to go back to Real Madrid as manager, and with him leaving them. This is the first time I was listening to the Transfer Market podcast, and they were saying this is the first time in he's just seen Spurs losing 2-0.
Yeah, sorry.
At home. Revolution had ended.
Yeah, only took him 2 games is all it took.
And they were saying that after leaving Porto, he's always gone to well-established, huge clubs. He went to Chelsea, then he went to Inter Milan, then Real Madrid, then Chelsea, then Man United. This is the first time in his career that he's gone to a club that are essentially losers. They've not won anything since 1961 of any importance. They won the League Cup. But again, maybe he wants to do a George Graham. George Graham got sacked by Arsenal, went to Leeds, then he came to manage Spurs, won them their major trophy that they keep going on about, the League Cup in, 2005 or 6 or something like that. And someone also said that one day Ramos won in the League Cup. I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh. Well, please, how much time? I took. I'm not going to go and check that in case Richard's wrong, and I don't want to show that he's wrong. So I'm just going to go with you and say yeah. But if Richard's wrong,
he 100% did, because I had to. Don't worry why I know, but yeah, because obviously this is a Spurs fan. So yeah. He definitely won the League Cup with them. But Spurs fans were so annoyed about the Mourinho.
You're right. 2008, they beat Chelsea 2-1.
Yeah. George Graham was actually trending on Twitter.
Back in 2005.
No, the other day when Mourinho was unveiled, because I think it reminds them of. Hang on, I'm getting evils from the wife. Go away. Because I think it reminded them of that. He's not really. Mourinho is not. I don't think he's a Spurs kind of manager. He doesn't seem to fit with that club. But we'll see how it goes. But the Pochettino thing, I think it will definitely. He would fit for the club, but I think he's got Man United written all over him.
Yeah, that's a worry. I know we're an Arsenal. I know we're an Arsenal podcast and we're Arsenal fans, but that would be a worry to me. Poch going to Man United, because he'd be a kind of manager that make them good again. Because at the moment they're absolute dump. But
it's amazing, isn't it?
I had a Man United fan there trying to banter me on Twitter earlier, saying that he'd go to the game on Thursday for a laugh. And I said, hang on, you support Man United, but you go to an Arsenal game for a laugh.
Well,
so you can just go to your ground for if you want to laugh.
Too far to travel.
Yeah, he was probably in London, wasn't he?
So, Richard, who do you think what would be your choice of manager? And then 2-part for the next bit. Do you think we are going to get rid of manager? And if you do, who do you think they're going to get? There's 3 questions for you. I'm going to go make dinner while you're answering that.
Okay, but hang on. So what was the first question? Was who do I want?
Actually, we'll do it the other way around. Do you think they're going to get rid of Unai? Who do you think, if they do, who do you think they're going to get? But who would you get? Let's do it in that order. That's better.
Okay, I do think they're going to get rid of Unai. I think the whispers and feelings that's coming out, especially with was it Ornstein that reported that he's definitely going to be in charge on Thursday. I thought that was a weird. I think it was Ornstein who tweeted that, something like that. It's like a weird messaging that's coming out of it. I think he's a dead man walking kind of thing. I think he's gone after the Frankfurt game. Who they're going to get in? I think it's either going to be a caretaker thing until of Freddie, or if they can get in Mikel Arteta. If they get Arteta, I think it will be a view to then, a longer term contract. Who would I want, mate? I have no idea. No idea.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either.
But don't you think with Arteta, the wheels have come off of the Man City bus? They've realised that Aguero's now out for a couple of months. They lost company. Yaya, all these players that were magnificent, best at their game, they've all gone. Or they're injured. Bernardo Silva is leaving at the end of the season. Edison is doesn't seem to be as good as he was before. He's panicking. He has been playing defensive midfielders at centre back, been playing the centre back as a defensive midfielder. I don't think it's going to be long before Pep goes, because he's not going to win anything this season. And then do you think maybe Arteta's going, well, if I hang around, I'll get a Man City job?
Yes, it's a good point. It is a good point. I mean, how many points are they behind? I mean, they're not doing that badly. It's just that Liverpool are just absolutely on fire at the minute and don't seem to be dropping any points whatsoever.
I think they've drawn one game all season. Liverpool on 37, Leicester 29, Man City 28. But Leicester have got the best second. Oh, they won 9-0. They've got a goal difference of plus 23. I mean, with 13 games into the season, we got a goal difference of -1.
Did you guys see that shot deficit stat that was going around?
Yes,
I certainly did. Yeah, it's alarming. Very, very alarming.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I knew it was bad, but it was chilling to see it in that cold, hard facts kind of thing.
I've
actually got it here. I got it and saved it so I could share.
Well, a lot of it is because of the way we play. A lot of it is because of the way we're set up and the way that Unai wants to try and win games. But it's very defensive. Place, 5 at the back. I mean, 5 at the back at home against Southampton.
What's he thinking there? Is he just doing that because he's scared to lose?
When I saw it, when I saw the team sheet, I thought it was going to be more of Tierney and Bellerin on the wings, pushing forward, and leaving a back three. But then, of course, the game starts and we see that he's actually playing 5 at the back. I think the problem with Unai Emery at the moment is he's obviously scared to lose matches because he knows that his job's hanging but he's hanging onto it by the skin of his teeth. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to work out I think himself, because we all say that he's so into looking at the opposition. I think what he's doing is he wants to see what he wants to see what the opposition are going to do before he makes changes. Because when he came here first, you'll see that he made a lot of changes at half time. He made a lot of changes early on in games. He was switching players around and this, that, and the other. And we were all going, "Oh, this is great!" I mean, look, when we were 2-1 down to Spurs at half time, I thought we were dead and buried.
Yeah,
he makes a few changes, and boom, we go on to win the game and win it well. So. I'm not too sure.
He's doing that now, hasn't he?
Exactly. He's now like was said earlier on. He's now going through every play in the book. Like he's flipping through the book. Oh, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What can I try next? Where can I put this player? Can I put him there? Can I put him there? He's just panicking now because, like I said, he knows his job is on the line and he's afraid to lose a game. And that's why I think we've been so poor at the moment. We've got Nicolas Pepe out there now, £72 million. He's so lacking confidence. I bet he doesn't play Thursday night. It's a perfect game for him. Put him on and bang him up front. Let him, don't put him on the wing. Put him up front. Let him get into the thick of the action. Let him get the ball. Let him score a few goals. Let's get his confidence up, because we have a player in this boy, but he's just not being used properly, in my opinion. He's not getting the chances. He's not getting the chances to play. I mean, against Southampton there, I mean, should have put that away. That chance he had. Do you know, if you put a different shirt on him, put the shirt of his last club on him, he's put that in the top corner. But
full of confidence there.
Yeah, full of confidence. You know, but something's got to change.
There was also the one where he was through on goal, and he instead of taking the shot,
he passed.
He passed it because he hasn't got the confidence.
Too afraid. You know, and is he afraid of what the fans are going to say? Is he afraid of what the manager's going to say? Is he going to get dropped for the next game? Or, you know, because we are quite a reactive. Well, I say quite. We're a very reactive fan base.
Some are a bit.
Yeah, some can go. You know, if a fella misses, you know, it's oh God, you know, sell him, or you know, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I'm so. Like, I didn't want to watch the Southampton game at the weekend. It's the first time ever. I didn't want to watch it. But I did. But I didn't want to.
And exactly what happened, what we thought might happen.
Yeah. 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 And lucky to win. I mean, lucky to draw. And the Lacazette goal, when that went in.
And he didn't celebrate. That sums it up.
Tells you everything you need to know about Arsenal at the moment.
Richard, you were mentioning this thing by David Wall, which is at the number one, not number one, David Wall on Twitter. So there's the chart that you were talking about. Talk us through it. If you listen to this on iTunes, skip the next 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's just...
Oh, can you see it on your phone properly? I just realised you're on your phone.
It's very tiny. Yeah, it's probably you better to think.
Okay.
It's very tiny for me.
In Wenger's last season, I think this is going the number of shots that we've had compared to the number of shots we've conceded. Under Wenger in his last season, we were plus 170 shots, which means we ran the game. And then last season, we were minus 32. And this season already, we are minus 56. When you look back at some of the seasons before, the best one was 2009-10. We were plus 276 shots difference between what we've done and what other teams have done. That's just absolutely shocked. How can we be more? Well, I know how we're minus 56 because no one's giving the ball to anybody who's playing up front. And when you do give the ball to them, it seems to be they're going, oh, we've got Peter Crouch up front. Let's chuck unless it's Kieran Tierney doing it. And someone comes down the right wing, and they just and kicks the ball so high up into the air. But you look at some of the passing and the placement that Kieran Tierney does from that left side, turning players inside out and then almost putting it on the penalty spot, which is where you want for players like Lacazette to go and tap it in. Have you got any thoughts on that, Craig?
Well, this chart that we've got up in front of us now. So, I mean, Southampton, before they came to the Emirates, had 13 shots in 3 games before they come to the Emirates. And I think they had, 20? Was it over 20 at the Emirates?
I've actually got it here. They had 21 shots.
21 shots, yeah, on target in 1 game against the Arsenal away. And 13 shots on target in 3 games before. So, I mean, this chart's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, 9-10 season there, 276.
We were spoiled.
Unbelievable. And this 17-18, 170, Wenger's last season, minus 32, minus 56. I just, it's...
And imagine what Wenger would have done.
Is what it is.
It is so damning.
Richard, imagine what Wenger would have done if he'd have had Lacazette and Aubameyang playing rather than Giroud and Walcott.
Yeah, I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Wenger had kind of come to the end of his run and had slightly lost his way, kind of thing, and we needed a change. But every metric that you want to measure, we are worse off under Unai. I think it's now kind of without question and without thinking that the guy needs to go. It's literally just how we handle it and how we move on from it now. Like, do you guys think that, with the noise statement that came out, do you think there's now like loads of bad sentiment towards Raul and Edu and that because of that, or do you reckon it still everyone would still have negative thoughts on them regardless of that statement?
I think the statement, I think David Ornstein kind of changed a few words in that statement. And his take was actually the noise. And I've heard that the Arsenal media team were very upset with the Ornacle for saying something like that, because apparently that's not what they said. But whether they said it or not, it was said, and it got the hair up on people's backs about us being a noise, fans being a noise, going, paying money to go to the Emirates, paying money to watch Arsenal home and away, travelling the country, and then for someone like Raul to come out and say, oh, we'll do things our way, we're not going to worry about the noise, putting it onto the fans. It's a disgraceful thing to say. So yeah, I think you might be right. I think a lot of the fans, got their backs up when they heard that, and I think Raul came in for a bit of a target for a lot of fans when that was said. But at the end of the day, he can say what he wants, really, because he is where he is, and like I said before, if he hasn't got, it's all very well bringing him in, and we were all rejoicing when he came in. The Pepe deal was got put over the line, and different knock FC and all this kind of stuff. When Arsenal comes knocking, it's now a different knock. Well, he's got to back it up. If you're different, then go out. If you're so different to what we've had before, then go and sack him then. If you really want us to succeed the way you said that this was going to happen, that we were going to, come out of this a better team and we were going to go on and challenge, I can't believe him if he's not got the nuts to sack a manager.
I mean, this is twice in a row now. We have been the laughing stock of football. Everybody knew Wenger was going to go the season that he did go, and it was Wenger. He should have gone after we beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final. That was the ideal opportunity. He'd have left as a hero, because that would wipe out all the previous seasons of failing, the Bayern games, all the other stuff.
It was Hull for me, Danny.
Hull
when we beat it. Go then. As soon as the 10-year drought. It's done. There you go, Arsene. Thanks very much. That was the perfect time for him to go.
And Klopp was ready to be plucked, wasn't he?
He certainly was.
Oh, God. It's sad to think we could have had Kloppo. But Rich, they're doing exactly the same thing again, but to the nth degree. They're making us look like a bunch of morons. Everybody knows that Emery is, as they say, a dead man walking. We all know he's going to go, but they should have done it in the international break. Look at Spurs. Levy woke up one morning. No, that's it. I've had enough. You're gone. Someone in the next day. Us, it's like an elongated nightmare. Do you know anybody who wants Emery to stay? I don't.
No, there's no one that I've seen. I've not seen one post saying, "Oh, you should keep him." Because
apart from your other half, she wants him to stay. I take it.
Yeah, quite probably. She doesn't say anything about it. Signed the thing. Yeah. She doesn't say anything to me. She knows she'll get a mouthful. I don't know. I just think we're always so slow at everything we do. I mean, like, even going back to just like signing a goddamn player. Like, do you remember how long it took us to fucking sign Arshavin? He was in the air. He was at a fucking hotel in Heathrow for about a month. It's
with Villa.
It's just so. I don't understand why it takes us so long to do everything. Like, it's not, like I said earlier, it's not all cut and dry. It doesn't always happen like that. It's not FIFA. It's not Championship Manager. But we're hurting ourselves and hurting our chances of getting into that top four by stalling and being protracted over this. Like Craig said earlier, we need to be proactive rather than reactive. And already it's kind of taken too long. Like I said, this should have been done in the international break, because there has been no signs since I think like the Watford game. There's been no signs that Emery is even on the brink of turning this around. So there's no point, and I can't see anything really that would say, yeah, we need to stay the course for a little bit. Steady, see if he can steady something. I can't see any evidence or any metric which makes it a positive that he should continue managing us. Like I said, the only slightest of caveats is that we've got someone, but we've got someone in mind, but we're still trying to, dot the I's and cross the T's, or whatever the fuckers the thing is. That's the only thing I can think of, because it makes no sense keeping him on in, like I said, doing what he's doing. Because it's costing us, like you said, 15 million. You could say like 15 million to sack his and get rid of him and his backroom staff. It's going to cost us 40 million being out of the Champions League again.
And even look at the league table now, how far we've fallen behind because we're just mucking about. Raul thinks that he can turn it around. He can't. When you've got the players now and you hear that he's having a row with Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney's only been here 3 months. Do you know? And you hear that he's rowing with Aubameyang and Lacazette, heated exchanges and this, that and the other. When that starts happening, if he stays, Lacazette's going to leave. If he stays, Aubameyang's going to leave. The club can't afford for Lacazette to leave. The club can't afford for Aubameyang to leave. We certainly can't afford to lose Lucas Torreira as well. So the club, or whoever it is, whether it be Raul, Josh or Stan, someone has got to do something. They've got to do it quickly before we fall even further behind.
What do you think Wenger is thinking, looking at the whole situation? Because Wenger loves the club, and Wenger will probably have had a beady eye on all of this. What do you think he's thinking, Craig? He's got to be embarrassed.
Yeah, I think so. But I think he'd also be... has Arsene Wenger got it in him to be kind of like, no.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that kind of way. Oh, this wouldn't happen, if I was still there. But I still think that even if Wenger was still here and Wenger was still manager, I still think we'd be struggling. Probably not as much as we are now, but I still think we wouldn't be. I still think we wouldn't move on to that next step. In quality and in challenging and this, that, and the other. I mean, when Unai Emery first came, I have to admit, I've never heard of him. I had to go on the internet and read about him and this, that, and the other. 3 times champion, 3-time Europa League winner, only manager to win it 3 times on the trot. Won the French Cup, won the French League. Took Valencia to their first ever Champions League. This, that, and I'm thinking, God, he sounds all right. But unfortunately, he's come here, and the only way I can put his downfall is to that he's just confused everyone, and he's confused himself.
I was. What do you think he's thinking, Richard? Because I think that's an interesting thing. Because I was Wenger out near the end. And I do feel bad for that because it's a bit like kicking your grandfather when he's down, but who had to go in old people's home, was refusing to go, and now you feel bad that he's actually gone there and he's running the place.
I don't think that he's gloating over this, or I think he'd be genuinely sad. I think he fell in love with the club. I think the club's in his heart. I agree with Craig. Wenger needed to go. Unfortunately, the game the managerial game had passed him by. I agree with. I don't think we'd be in as bad a shape as we are now if Wenger was still in charge, but I don't think we'd be that far ahead of the curve either.
The players respect him, and they'd be giving it because they'd be giving him the respect by playing it on the pitch. Because I don't remember many times where the players down-tooled at Arsenal when he was manager, if they ever did, other than the odd one or two that got the ump and wanted to leave, like Fabregas and someone like that.
No, but we were still ridiculously passive without the ball. Football had moved on and changed, whereas it was just as important off the ball as on the ball, and Arsene didn't roll with the punches in that regard. Like I said, it wasn't just the last 2 seasons we've been absolutely passive, but the big difference was Wenger had an attacking philosophy and he went out to attack, whereas Unai is, I think he's defensive first. He wants his teams to counter attack, but he's still not getting. I don't know if it's he's not trying to implement it, or he just doesn't. The players are just incapable of implementing it, because we started it a couple of times. The pressing from the front and closing down, but it's completely fallen down the wayside. So I don't think Wenger is rubbing his hands with glee in this situation. I think he'd be genuinely sad.
No. Something you mentioned there, which is going to bring me on to, and I know we're dwelling on this because this is a monumental time in Arsenal history. Arsenal managers are like London buses. You have one forever, and then three are coming along in short succession. So the thing, I'm looking at Chris's questions, that's why I can't find it. You were saying that he's trying, and Craig said earlier that he's trying to change things constantly. His last 6 starting formations. Now, these things, as we saw at halftime against Southampton, he does change things. But it was going backwards from Southampton, 3-4-1-2, 5-3-2, 3-4-3, 4-3-1-2, 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2, 4-4-2-6, 4-2-3-1. Now, some of those you could say, like the 4-4-1-1 was a slight variation from the 4-4-2, or that the 5-3-2 was a slight variation of the 3-4-1-2 because we had the fullbacks dropping back to a 5. But doesn't that show that he's grasping at straws? He's trying anything to trying to get a tune out of this side. And the players not interested, are they? So many of them aren't. And then you've got leaders on the pitch that are being quiet. We've had mixing this up with another point I was going to bring up. Mustafi was the boo boy, he's gone. Xhaka was the boo boy, he's gone. Who's next? It seems next is Emery, doesn't it? Either of you, I don't mind, Rich.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, there's always been a boo boy, and there always will be a boo boy. And yeah, you're dead right, mate. It was, we could go through the list. Unai Emery is definitely the next one. It's like you said, it's a monumental time at the club, and I just don't know what they're waiting for, Danny. I just can't. I just don't understand it.
Especially when we see other clubs around us going, "You're gone."
Exactly. Yeah.
No one else is doing that.
And it would be a lot easier to talk about. It would be a lot easier to talk about if we got a message now to say that he'd been sacked. I just do not know what they are waiting for. There must be something going. I think that there is something going on behind the scenes. I think he was sacked. This is just me, and people can say you're off your head, you're this, that, and the other. But for me personally, I think he's been sacked, and I think he was sacked on Saturday after the Southampton game. There's obviously, the Arsenal Twitter account didn't tweet for 20 hours. He's not been. He was supposed to go to some university in London. That's been cancelled. The players been given 2 days off before a Europa League tie. They went into work on Monday and were told to go home. There's something going on behind the scenes, and whether we see, I think there's been an agreement made that he comes out, he manages the team against Frankfurt, and that's it. And I think on Friday afternoon, whatever the result, we'll get an announcement.
Hopefully, Richard. We saw in the summer of 2018. It's Arteta. Oh no, Emery. Does that just show you that they've either got no grasp of what they're doing, or they remember in the days of Wenger when he's trying to buy players and like the Suarez thing, 40 million and £1. Do you think it's just the Arsenal way just to go and things just take forever because they're arguing over fees? Whereas someone like Spurs, I know we shouldn't keep talking about them, but Jose has taken a pay cut. He's only on £15 million a year. All of his backroom staff, they've all taken a pay cut as well to go to Spurs. Do you think that could be something to do with it? The fact that they're just arguing over a few extra euros, or are they just really that unorganised? Because that's how I feel it is. It's just a shambles.
I can't really give you an honest answer about that. I mean,
what's your reaction to it? Do you think they're fucking around because they're incapable of getting things done? Which is what I'm trying to say about swearing and I failed.
Yes, I think there's. It's almost like it's like they're waiting for some unanimous. There's some committee to be unanimous in the decision that they're making. It's either that or they only fucking work 9 till 5, and then that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 5 o'clock. The out of office goes on. I can't do anything now. I can't appoint anybody. I agree with what Craig was saying. And says I think there's something going on. But like playing devil's advocate in the sense of, if there's nothing concrete happening yet, what statement can you put out? There's nothing you can really say to the fans. like without, you can't kind of say, oh, we might be doing something, hang on, and then he's still the manager. You they can't say anything just yet until something's concrete and definitive. So it's they have the doing things the Arsenal way. Well, one thing that doing things the Arsenal way is taking your sweet ass bloody time about doing stuff, and I think that's genuinely it. I think they're just taking their time, like they do with everything. Like I say, signings take forever. The fucking kit launches, I swear, kit launches take forever. Everything seems nothing is proactive. It's all very reactive. And honestly, I agree with what Craig's saying. I think there's something smells different. There's something going on, and I do think that he's going to be gone sooner rather than later. But I don't. Like I said, playing devil's advocate, they can't make a statement if there's no statement to make.
And then to force the statement, I suppose.
Well, if he loses Thursday, he's toast.
We said that if he didn't beat Southampton, didn't we?
We said that if he didn't beat Leicester.
Yeah, true, very true. But it's, with everything that's happened this week after the Southampton game, we've now got weak hair do you have come back on the scene. There's talks about waving hankies at tomorrow's game. There's talk about people are not going. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter giving their tickets away to people, and to those people who are giving their tickets away, big respect, because it might give someone a chance to go to the Emirates and watch Arsenal play. But
is the ticket exchange even open for this game? I think there's going to be barely anybody here.
Yeah, I saw a diagram today of the stadium, and there are seats in every single block, every single row. The seats available.
When I get my tickets, I have to ring up the people who do the purple membership, and every time I've rang up, they've said, yeah, we got tickets. In fact, they rang me up on the day before the Spurs game, so we got tickets if you want to come to the Spurs one. But Sean was working and I couldn't do it. But I think Dan, on your podcast, Same Old Arsenal yesterday, Craig, made a really good point about he doesn't enjoy going to football anymore. He goes because of the whole. Well, tell people what you're saying.
Yeah, well, Dan was saying that he doesn't enjoy going into the stadium and watching the game. What he enjoys now, is going with his dad and having a beer and meeting up with his mates. And I think a lot of Arsenal supporters are like that. It's not, getting up on a Saturday, waking up on a Saturday afternoon, thinking, oh, I'm going to football today. The football is a distraction. Jumping on the tube, jumping on the train with your mates, having a can of lager on the train, getting to the ground, going to the pub, meeting up with your mates, having a laugh, and then you go into the ground and you have to sit there all somber, come out with the raging ump, and go back in the pub and talk about it. That Dan was saying he's not enjoying going anymore. I mean, like, it even goes to as far as like I said on the podcast. My kids are now questioning him, do we have to support these, Dad? do you know? My wife, after the Southampton game, she's sitting there, and we're watching the interviews after the game, and the league table comes up, and she just went, huh, well, Burnley and Sheffield United are above you. Huh. And I'm sitting there and I'm going,
all right. Yeah,
leave off, will you? Like, I've got the kids asking me that, So we're supposed to, I'm supposed to teach the kids, you support Arsenal like my dad did. Like, we're Arsenal fans. I know people, know that I've a little affiliation with Ipswich Town as well. I used to go and watch Ipswich a lot, but the household was an Arsenal household, they're turning around to me now, and like, who was I watching the other day? I think it was, I was watching Man City and Chelsea, and my middle one, Rosie, comes in and goes, "Come on, Chelsea!" And I was like, "What did you just say?" She's like, "Come on, Chelsea. I support Chelsea."
Oh dear.
And I was like, "Right, okay." But I said, "What about Arsenal?" No, I don't want to support them. You lose all the time. Okay, all right, love. Yeah, whatever.
Dagger to the heart.
Wait till you get older, and we'll have this conversation again. But so Dan's right. And a lot of people, you go on Twitter, and someone actually brought that up on our Twitter. They tweeted it to the account, saying that Dan struck a nerve when he said that about not going, and then another fellow come on and said, "Yeah, my boy's lost it. My boy's lost all interest. I used to go and watch Arsenal with him every week. You don't want to go with me anymore."
When I went, I was more excited about meeting up with Carl and Hollick, and I was going to message Harry, but he was busy, and my Simon from my pod, but he was busy. Yeah. Everybody wanted to go home. It was late on a Sunday afternoon. And
but it's true, though. I mean, I don't live in I don't live in the UK, as a lot of people know. But I mean, if I travelled over to go to a game, and let's say, for example, the likes of you and Richard were there, and Jason, and Lee and Harry, and the game would get in the way of me having a good time.
That's it.
It's almost become secondary, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not the reason now why you get up on a Saturday afternoon. It's just to be with your mates. The football is, have I got to go in here now for 90 minutes and watch this? Can't we just stay in the pub and watch it?
I think the only reason I got up to watch the Southampton game is because half of ABW have given up with football, and it's only me and Jace available to do the show, so I had to get up and watch it. Otherwise, I'd have stayed in bed. And I got to that point at some points last season. Right, there's one other thing that I've made a note of: the Opta rating. It takes the entire Opta rating of all the players in our team and then divides it by however many played, and then you get the average for our games. Going backwards from the last few games: 6.98, 6.3, 6.75, 6.75, 6.60, 6.76, 6.91, and 6.47. That's the average for all of our players. And sometimes I've seen our players get 5.9 individually.
It's not good.
It's mediocrity.
World-class players, haven't we, Rich? We've got world-class Aubameyang.
We are less than the sum of our parts.
That should be the name of the show.
Yeah.
Is he? I just want. Can I just before you? Is Aubameyang? I'm gonna leave myself wide open here for abuse, but is he playing like a world-class player?
I think it's hindering him, isn't it? It's not playing to his strengths. You watch him when he was playing at Dortmund. How often was he standing in the box waiting for crosses to come in?
Yeah,
it's not his game.
No.
Yeah, how often is it lumping up balls to him? 2 foot above his head.
I just think with Aubameyang, he only plays well when the going's good. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion on him.
Drew does stuff with Tom doing stuff with us lately. He's an expert when it comes to German football, and he said the worst thing you could do is make Aubameyang captain, because when he was captain,
I was on the pod when he said that.
What was he saying? Because I already forgot.
Yeah, because he was saying that it's all good when things are going his way, but he's the first one to kind of go against the grain. Doesn't like being told what to do and that sort of thing. So I see what you mean in the sense of about sometimes he can be missing for large spells of the game, but I think it's got more to do with how badly we're playing. And how disjointed we are from, like I said, for our midfield is just such a mess that the connectivity between us and the centre forwards is a shambles. So I genuinely believe you drop Messi instead of Aubameyang, he would struggle. You put Ronaldo in there, they would struggle just because the rest of the team is, especially that midfield, is just an utter
awful
disaster zone.
I remember against Southampton at one point, I almost did a screen grab of this. Ozil was our second deepest player. There was one defender in him, and he'd gone all the way back there to get the ball. And we saw against, it might have been Leicester or one of the recent games, and we saw that both Aubameyang and Lacazette were both almost playing wing back. They were coming that far deep to try and get the ball. And it's just... You're thinking it's so obvious what is wrong, and how can't he see it?
The Man United game, the heat map, Torreira was literally standing next to Lacazette up front.
Yeah.
Hey-ho.
Anyway, right. I think we spent nearly an hour just moaning about the manager. We're now going to move on to the listeners' questions. I bet these are all going to be of a similar sort of idea. Right. So
I've got 18% battery, Danny. So
18
on, mate. 18, yeah.
Yeah, right. We need to get a wiggle on. Okay, start with a question for you. If you get cut off, then me and Craig will carry on without you. We've only got to go for another 20 minutes. From Josh, this is for you, Richard. Josh Robinson. Arteta is my number one choice to take over from Emery for a number of reasons. Who would you like to see as part of his backroom staff? That's an angle we haven't covered. Have you got a charger where you can go and get it and plug it
in? Annoyingly, it's one of those things that if the headphones is the charger jack.
What kind of witchcraft is that?
So, Apple. So dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on, then.
Dickheads.
That's a good
right. So I would. That's not a bad question. I would still maintain Freddie. In with it. He'll maintain that link to the club and that link to the youth players. So I would keep Freddie as his number 2, and then, like I say, he can bring in whatever jokers he wants to bring in, as long as Joe Payton's not there. It's all good.
There is plenty of rumours that Everton are looking to get rid of Silva, and they're looking at Arteta because he's an Everton man to go there. So that could be a third.
I heard they were going to get David Moyes back again.
I also heard that. I stood Chris
that happens.
About that.
But yeah, I would have Freddie as the number 2 in there.
Okie dokie. Right. Question for you, Craig, from Matt L. Roberts. Is it too early to talk about transfer links? If so, is there any position you would look to fortify? It's not really too early. We've got 34 days into the transfer window.
No, it's not too early. No, I don't think it's ever too early to start talking about transfers. But it is clear to me that we need, we need defenders. To look at Nicolas Pepe now. If we'd have all known now, if we would have all known then what we know now, I would have rather spent 75 million on a defender.
Imagine who you could have got for that.
We could have brought in Koulibaly for that money. We could have brought in this fella Upper Makamo, is it? We could have brought him in straight away. I would like to see defenders coming into the club. I'd like to see a new right back. I'd like to see and 2 new centre halves.
To replace Bellerin.
Yeah, I don't think Hector is the same player before this injury. Unfortunately, I think
time, isn't he?
Yeah, that injury has really hindered him, and I think we can see it. We can see it in the game. It's not the same Hector Bellerin that run from the halfway line to make that goal-saving tackle. I forget who it was against now.
Swansea.
Was it Swansea, was it?
Yeah.
Before the injury, he was still all about that, running up and down those wings, getting crosses in, attacking, running back, making last-minute tackles. He just looks absolutely knackered now at 60, 70 minutes. So, yeah, I think it's a position we need to have a look at. But certainly defenders. Is what it would be my main aim. I mean, Bert Leno stands at the top of most saves made in the Premier League at the moment with 53 saves. Sorry, last week. What was it? I forgot what the stat is now.
It was a last-ditch saves. I think
last-ditch saves. Yeah, 53 last-ditch saves. That's all down to the defence.
Someone I was listening to another pod today, the shouty ones, they all talk over each other, and they were saying that Bellerin has got 3 caps for Spain. And do we possibly rate him too much? I'm thinking that's a good point. I don't know who plays right back for Spain. I know Spain are such a good team that they probably have got an amazing right back, and I take so little notice of international football. I've got no idea, but. Yeah, 3 caps.
I'm afraid he's a little overrated. I don't mind being the man. He is. A lot of people, I think, would admit it to you that he is a little overrated. But unfortunately, this injury, that injury that he got there, I mean, it was a cruciate knee ligament, wasn't it? It's very hard to come back. It's very hard to be the same Hector Bellerin after a cruciate knee ligament. So in answer to the question, yes, I would like to see transfers, and I'd like to see 2 centre-halves and a right back.
And one final bit on Bellerin. It weren't that long ago that he was the boo boy, wasn't he?
Very true. You're not fit to wear the shirt and all that kind of malarkey, But on that, was that really directed at just him? I think
that was directed to everybody.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it was directed to him. I just think at that time when he was taking the throw in, everyone's kind of shouting it, and I don't think that it was aimed solely at Hector Bellerin. I'd be very surprised if it was.
How much battery power you got left, Richard?
16%.
Oh, it's not too bad. There you go. Oppo phones, remember? Go and buy them. Tell them we sent you. We'll get a 0% discount. Right, question for you, Richard, from Vintage Emery. If we get a new manager, would you want them to change the captain's arrangement? And what would you do with the players whose contracts are running out, like Lacazette and Aubameyang? Would you play them or sell them? I slightly edited that because he tried to get it all into one tweet. So that's the gist of his question. It's a very good question. I liked it.
Yeah. Right. I would. I actually. I don't mind the captain core captaincy thing. What they did. It spreads out the responsibility. It promotes leadership with other players and stuff like that. I didn't mind that. My issue with it was the length of time it took to appoint Xhaka. And also, I think the appointment of Xhaka, I thought was a mistake
as well, wasn't it?
So I would have no problem with that. I would keep that the same. I probably wouldn't appoint, let the players pick their own captain, like main captain. I would pick that myself, kind of thing. Whoever if I was the manager, whoever I had a relationship with. And someone who could be a conduit for my ideas and to get my instructions to the players in another way, kind of thing, but still speaking from the same hymn sheet. I wouldn't have someone that they would pick that I don't have a relationship with, or it's difficult, kind of thing. So I would keep that the same. Aubameyang, I could take or leave as him being the captain. My initial thing was, as the main captain, was Hector. I know what Craig was saying about that, and I do agree. Hector, since he's come back, bless him, has been awful. But that is a horrific injury to come back from, and even Holding's not exactly setting the world alight when he's come back. So hopefully, if they get more games under their belt, they can be better. The players running down on contracts, I think you need to, if they don't sign, you've got to, you just got to try and sell them. Wasn't that the plan that they were going to do? So like, if they were in 2 years of the contracts, they either re-sign them. If they didn't re-sign them, you sell them. So that's the kind of what I do, rather than get into this cyclical thing of, are they going to sign? Are they going to sign? Are they going to sign? Oh no, now they're running down their contract and we're losing them for free. It's happening too often, and we lost out on well over 40 million off Ramsey, however much money off on Alexis. So I don't know if I wouldn't play them.
Free could have been worth money.
Yeah,
even if
I don't know if. Yeah, I don't know if I'd not play them, because it's a little bit cutting off your nose to spite your face, and I think that in a way that might hinder the team. It's almost a similar thing to, and again, I'm not an Ozil apologist or anything, but because Emery wasn't getting on with Ozil, he was dropping him, and it was, our performances weren't warranted. Same with the season before, when Ramsey wasn't signing anything and that contract was in the air, he wasn't playing Ramsey, and I think it was hurting the team rather than it didn't make him sign. So I don't see any benefit to it. But I would adhere. I'd keep with that structure of 2 years. They either sign it or we move on. And if they don't want to sign the contract, then you can play them, but you then spend that that from day dot at the start of that season where they haven't signed, you start finding that replacement, and you get someone so that you're ready. You've then got that season to find a replacement for that player.
I agree completely. Right, Mike Hertz has asked a question. Who do you believe has the power to make the managerial change? Kroenke or the board, Raul or Edu? We've already covered that. So cheers, Mike. One for you, Craig, from James Gavin Smalley. Consider this. The reason Mourinho was successful at Chelsea and not as much elsewhere was that he had leaders on the pitch. And our current, in brackets, very long slump is mainly due to the opposition. Maybe Xhaka is the answer after all. I've just been and had a look at the games Xhaka missed. He missed a draw against Wolves, a loss to Leicester, a draw against Southampton, a loss to Liverpool on penalties, and a draw against Victoria in the Europa League. It's those 5 games. We haven't won a single one of them.
It's a very good question. And I think Jose was very lucky. If you look at that Chelsea team that he won the division with, Cech in goal, John Terry, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba. The list goes on. All leaders on the pitch in their own right. You could have given any one of them the captain's armband at Chelsea. And if you were a Chelsea fan, you'd have no problem with any of those players that I just mentioned being captain.
Ashley Cole.
Yeah, Ashley Cole, John Terry, Petr Cech, Drogba, Frank Lampard, Essien, all those players. Hazard. I think did Hazard arrive under the Mourinho? Yeah. Any of those players could have been captain of Chelsea. Go to the Arsenal team. How many players now would you feel confident giving an armband to? I'll ask you. I'll put the question back to you. How many of those players on the pitch on Saturday would you feel confident giving the armband to?
Well, it's I don't think many of them, because I was saying people like Bellerin, but Bellerin has shown that he's not up to it at the moment for one reason or another, whether it's getting back to match fitness or he's struggling. And I like Rob Holding, but he seems to prefer Chambers over Holding.
Yeah.
David Luiz seems to be a bit of a liability. Sokratis is an absolute mess. Leno was captain when he was at his last team for the last season. So
Guendouzi, would you make Guendouzi captain?
Cheers. As if that poor kid needs any more bloody stuff on his shoes.
Exactly.
He's carrying the entire team at the moment.
Would you make Torreira captain?
No,
you wouldn't. No. You see Tierney. Would you make Tierney captain?
God knows, too young. I mean, you've been there 5 minutes.
Yeah. Leaves 3. Leaves Ozil, Lacazette, or Aubameyang. Are they captains? No. So that goes back to what he said about Chelsea. And I just went through 5 or 6 players there that you'd give it to no problem. That he's using the example of. We need to do something with the captaincy. I've always said it. This 5 captains thing is a load of old tosh. One captain on the pitch, one captain represents the players. That is it. You just need to you need to pick your captain, and that is it. None of this vice captain, club captain. He's the captain of taking the kit to the washroom. He's the captain of making sure the boots go over there. He's the captain of this. He's the captain. What a load of old rubbish. Whenever football, have you grown up with football? Have you ever heard of a team having 5 captains? When have you ever heard that?
You look back in some of the days when we'd have Bergkamp. I think he's been captain of Holland. Vieira, captain of France. I think Lehmann might have had a few games as captain of Henry, captain of France.
No, what I mean is how many clubs have got 5?
None.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did. We did back in the day. I remember thinking, God, we've got so many players that are all captains at the same time, and now you've only really got one, haven't you? And he's been dropped.
I mean, Lee made a great point there the other night. How many quality international players have we got?
We have seen that more and more players that we rate. Richard, you got an answer to
that? Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Not well. It's Aubameyang, Lacazette, even though he doesn't get into the side, really, does he?
Okay, I'll put it this way to you, Richard. How many players played in the last international break?
I was looking at that, and I was the only one. Xhaka, didn't he? He played 2 games.
2.
As captain.
2.
Yeah.
Xhaka and Torreira.
Yeah, and Torreira had a hell of a game.
I mean, Tierney would get in the squad, but he's been pulled out, hasn't he?
Well, he has, yeah.
I think that was an agreement with Scotland. They let him have time to recover.
Yeah.
But again, how far have we slid down when you go back to when you go back to Highbury?
Pepe,
did he play?
Yeah, Pepe, because he was late back from getting that. It's one of the reasons why he didn't start against Southampton.
I think when you're looking at players like Aubameyang and Pepe, they're kind of once in a generation players for their country. They are absolute legends there, and they're going to play all they'll be playing up until they're in their late 30s, mid-30s.
If you go back through the years, you think of when France won the World Cup, the headline in the paper was Arsenal win the World Cup. You go back along to Highbury there now and think of that. We could sit here now. You had Bergkamp playing for Holland, Henry playing for France, Perez playing for France, Petit playing for France, Vieira playing for France, Freddie played for Sweden, Ashley Cole played for England. Do you know? Now look at it.
You had people on the bench that couldn't even get in the team that were
international. Full internationals.
And on a good side, it does mean they don't get injured on international break anymore.
Very true.
Not the players that are any good.
Very true. Gilberto Silva, Brazil.
It's not even doing us any good because I think it was on the Arsecast. They said about like every time after the international break, we've actually been worse. Like I think like the Watford game was after the international break. I think the Leicester game was after the international break. The Leicester game. There's like every game after the international break, where you think that Emery's got a couple of weeks to sort things out. We're even worse.
Yeah.
Well,
it's bad. It's quite chilling how far we've regressed, and I there's a possibility that maybe we're not as good. The players we have are not as good as we think they are.
Or maybe they come here good and we turn them bad.
Yeah, that's another possibility.
Right. Go on.
No, after you, mate.
Okay. Right, one final question. You can both answer this. Start with you, Richard. Mayak Nagrendan, it says I can call him Mike because I mess his name up every time. Looking ahead, what target would you set a new manager for this season? What a great question.
Cohesion.
What target would I set the new manager?
I don't know whether he means like Craig just said, unity, cohesion.
Yeah, unity, cohesion. Don't worry about top four. Let's just get back to winning. Let's just get back to playing football. Let's just back to being a team again. With ideas, with a philosophy, with a tactic, with a meaning. And let's get back to playing football again. The worst thing that can happen now is a new manager come in and everyone goes, top four. It's got to be top four. It's got to be top four. I don't think we're going to get top four now.
No,
I don't either.
So to set a manager coming in now, his thing is to finish top four. Ridiculous. I think if a new manager comes in now, his task should be to get players like Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mesut Ozil, another big one. He should be tasked with perhaps getting Granit Xhaka back into the side, slowly but surely. He should be, like I said, he should be tasked with cohesion and unity, and we go from there.
Anything to add to that, Richard?
No, not really. Like I said, we just it needs to get a style back again, and I'm not saying like an attacking style, but a definitive style that we can all get behind, kind of thing. I say my major thing is I want us to get better off the ball, and I keep bloody harping on about it, and I'll probably sound really boring, but I'm sick of seeing for the past 10 years people jockeying people and giving them 5 yards. I'm absolutely sick of that. I want it just needs to galvanise the team. Like I say, all of that. Like I say, get the unity get cohesion back, get the fans on side as well. And I don't know, maybe we can sneak into the Champions League via the UEFA, by the Europa League. Who knows?
True. Right. Fife's Forum. We'll move on to that now. What are the club waiting for before they sack Emery? You lot, a load of cheeky monkeys. Matt L. Roberts probably waiting to the end of the week to make a decision. It's the only decent, proper, sensible answer we got. Daniel O'Brien probably waiting for Black Friday to get a new manager on the cheap. Luca, they don't have their man tied up just yet and don't want Freddie for the whole season. Sensible answer. Mark J. Fine, who is a very angry man of late, looks like we're waiting for fucking climate change. # fuck Emery. Rene has said KSE are trying to find a way not to pay Christmas bonuses to Emery or a new coach. So sack one Christmas Eve or hire the new one Boxing Day. There you go. No bonus. Our very own Ginger Josh waiting for Arteta to get some actual managerial experience. Michael then says, for Chris to accept their offer, say yes, Chris. # Carpenter in. And Lackland says, are waiting for the world to end in a fiery explosion before sacking Emery, thus saving them cash and actually having to make a decision. It's a win-win for the board. Oh, great. You've cheered everyone up. Right. So we've done that. Right. Now it is Gentleman's Nods. This is the part of the show where you find someone near and dear to your heart that you'd like to say hello to. So while you two are thinking, I'm going to go and find all the lovely people that stuffed used fivers down Jason's wife fronts during the last show. And if this page would like to load sometime in the next week. Oh, there we go. Michael Hernandez, Unique 79, Marquise Hodges, Dean Robinson, 1983, Ariane Hedari, Michael Harniman, J. Rob, and there was a few before that one. Oh, no, we did all those ones on the last show. That was on November the 9th. Bloody hell, that's 14 days without a show. Craig, who would you like to say hello to? I bet you recognise some of them names from your own show.
I absolutely do, yeah, absolutely. I think my gentleman's nod, I didn't know I was going to have to do this, but probably the person that donated quite a large quantity of money on Sunday evening. Know them as Flo. I don't know whether it's a woman. I don't know whether it's a gentleman. But yeah, thanks very much indeed if you're listening.
You are. I was there. I'm there for every single one of the shows you do because they're brilliant and you're very similar to our show. We're there to have a good laugh. We're not there to make stars out of anyone because the judge is a star all on his own. Half pint judge.
Oh, I don't know. Is he? You know, I just think he. You know, what
you're
is it? Yeah. You know, I made him famous. You know, yeah. I mean, there's no getting around it. But no, Lee's a top boy, and has fast become a very, very good friend of mine outside of football. Because you know, I'm sure people are aware there that I've had a few problems there the last few years, and he's always been there for me. You know, so yeah, gentleman's nod. Another one would go to the judge. Very, very good friend of mine. Out of football, very humble guy. You know, you can talk to him. I can talk to him about anything. Doesn't have to be about football. Helped me loads. You know, does all the posting for the giveaways and stuff like that. There's, you know, as you know, Danny, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes in podcasts that you have to do. You know, you start doing giveaways and stuff. You've got to start, you know, counting on people to get things done and, you know, get posted and stuff like that. I mean, it's not just me, Dan, Graham, Harry, Lee. You know, I have a lad, Nigel.
Oh, Nigel Plum.
Who moderates the chat for me brilliantly. You know, without him, I couldn't have a chat because, you know, you've seen it before. We've all seen it on different podcasts. Mm-hmm. The chat box can go a bit silly, but Nigel does a great job. So yeah, gentleman's nod to all them as well. I love you all dearly.
Richard, anyone you'd like to say a gentleman's nod to?
Am I allowed to do one that I've done previously?
You can do whoever you want.
So my gentleman's nod goes to all the girls at the Evolve Development Centre in West London, where I coach at. If you're in the Ealing, Greenford, Hanwell area, and you a girl of the age between 5 and 16 and want to start playing football at a development centre that is affiliated with Hanwell Town and Arsenal Ladies, come and give us a shout. They're a lovely, lovely bunch of girls. We got a match on Saturday, the under-9s, which it's going to be making my managerial debut. But yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, my shout out goes to, gentleman's nod goes out to those girls.
Jolly good. And my own personal gentleman's nod is going to go to Anna, my friend who's a Liverpool fan, comes over every Friday for dinner, has done for about 15 years. That's at Punky B, Chris and John and all that lot all know her. She left an unopened tub of custard in the fridge. I ate it. 20 hours later, I was very, very ill because I forgot it contains a hell of a lot of lactose. Wow, that was a fun 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen.
It was nice while you're eating it, though.
I swill it around my mouth because I love the taste of custard so much. I don't swallow straight away. I savour all 1 litre of it.
I agree.
All right then. So upcoming shows this Thursday after the. Oh, don't know what that is. After the game, we're playing Frankfurt at home. God, dear, no away fans. The atmosphere is going to be terrible.
There's going to be any home fans?
Oh, gee, yeah. It'll actually just be empty. They'll be paying people to come in. It's going to be John, Jason, and Josh 10 minutes after the game ends. And I think I said about 1 minute 20, 1 hour 20. Look, we're 8 seconds early. Well done. If Jason were here, we still wouldn't be after I finished the first bloody question. I don't know if Chris was here. So all it is to me is to say, Craig, tell people where they can find you, the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTubes.
Yes, you can come over and follow us at Same Old AFC on the Twitter. Come over to YouTube, type in the Same Old Arsenal podcast into YouTube. You'll find us. Don't really do much on Facebook, to be honest with you, because there's no point. Because if you have a page with 10,000 people, and you put a post up, only about 3 people see it. So I stay away from Facebook. So yeah, come and follow us at Same Old AFC on Twitter and the Same Old Arsenal podcast on YouTube. And of course, find us iTunes, Spotify, whatever, Acast. We're there. We're on all of them.
And I will be there for every live show in the chat box.
Thank you, Dan.
Richard, where can they find you on the social medias with your username that every single time I spell it with a K and it's not?
Was it at Cactus Cash? I can't remember it anymore. You guys don't need to find me. It's nothing exciting's happening on my Twitter.
Too modest.
Just rumblings and retweets of Arsenal Simpsons.
Well, good luck to you in your first game. What tactics are you going for? You're just going to change it 9 times during the game?
Yeah. I'm gonna start the game by saying good evening. It's I don't know. 1 at the back, 2 in the middle, 1 up top, and that's right.
Oh,
so it's only 5-a-side at under 9s.
That's well, you couldn't have them running around a full-size pitch, could you? You'd do them some kind of damage, right?
We used to do that back in the day, didn't we?
I don't know.
I did. I played full pitch from under 9 upwards.
Yeah,
wow. When you were a goalkeeper of some esteem.
I looked like I must have looked like a baby in the goal. We played full-size goals as well. None of this small goal rubbish. Full-size goals. I remember. I can always remember my mum trying to move on my goalkeeper shorts as a 9-year-old. She kept saying it to the fella who bought the kit. Could he buy me a pair of shorts that fit me? Because the padding on the side used to be on both my arse cheeks. They were that big. So I'll never forget that. And I remember the goalkeepers kit. Do you remember the rainbow goalkeepers kit? Does anyone remember that? Spall made it.
No.
All the kits were Spall. Well, there was a kit mate called Spall when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and everyone wanted the rainbow kit. And if you were a goalkeeper, you had to have the rainbow kit. But I never got it.
Okay, you've ended the show, made us all sad. If anyone's got one of those kits, you can send it to Craig.
Yeah.
On Twitter, and he'll wear it during the show. Right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you very much, dear listener. We have been a Bergkamp Wonderland. We are a tribute flamenco act from the southeast corner of Spain. I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm going to close the show. Goodbye. End broadcast.